Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Hengerbeck Studio. Today I want to talk to you about how I think you can get the best results when using OSMO. OSMO is one of my favourite products, but if you don't apply it correctly, you ruin it. Okay, so what is the best result? What you're looking for is a perfectly uniform and consistent layer of finish that isn't overly applied, it doesn't have any flaws such as runs, track marks, streaks, it isn't cloudy or patchy, and more importantly it will reflect the light evenly. Why is that important? Because even the finest made piece can be ruined by a poorly applied finish. The whole process of finishing itself is a huge subject, so I'm not going to attempt to cover every step. I'm going to assume that you've finished working on your piece, it's been sanded to somewhere around 180 grit, and you're ready to apply the finish. Now, the three most popular methods that I'm going to talk about today is the brush, roller, and foam pad. Now, a lot of people use a lint-free cloth as well. To me, the pad gives a really similar result, and I actually find it much easier to use, and they're so readily available and cheap. So first up is the brush, my least favourite method. I find it really slow and it always seems to lay on way too much product. Admittedly here I've gone quite heavy and I'm using a cheap brush, but you can see each brush stroke is really obvious, it's taken a long time and it's too thick, it just doesn't look very good, you can see that. Right, next up we've got the roller. Now this is much better than the brush, but it still makes quite a thick coat and you can clearly see the path of the roller, you can see the track marks, you can see what's left behind, and when it dries that will be visible. And it's also still quite a thick coat, you can see I'm really having to work it around to get that to flatten out and to become even. Okay, now is the foam pad. This used to be my favourite method. You can see it puts on a lovely thin coat and you can really work it right into the grain, which is really important if you've got some difficult twisty grain like on a slab timber or something like that. And at the same time you can wipe away the excess as you're applying it. The only downside, as you'll see at the end here, is that if you don't quite get all your strokes perfectly over the grain, it shows up. So obviously here I've purposely gone quite a way across the grain just to highlight it. But if you're working on a large area like a door or a worktop, it can be really hard to make sure all your final strokes are perfectly in line with the grain. So that's the only downside of it in my opinion. Alright, so here's my favourite method. Look, it's the foam pad again. Okay, so this time we're going to use the foam pad, but what we're going to do is we're going to follow it up by back rolling with a dry foam roller. Instead of just wiping away the excess with the foam pad, I'm going to take a dry foam roller and we're just going to run it up there, and it smooths out all of the stroke marks whilst removing any leftover excess. And as you can see, perfectly flat finish, uniform, flat, stunning. That is exactly what you want. When we compare all of the four methods, as you can see, it's immediately obvious just how much better the foam pad is than the brush and the roller. I mean, it's almost not even worth bothering with a brush and roller at all. But with the foam pad, and you add the extra back rolling, that's just like the cherry on the top, finishes it off. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, thanks for watching. I hope that was useful to you, and whilst you're here, please check out some of the other videos, see what we do here, and if you're interested in the project, get in touch, love to hear from you. Alright, thank you very much, bye bye.